But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
The devil can wear a tuxedo and fit right in.
The wall of silence has now been broken.
These allegations go back decades.
Everybody was afraid.
Trafficking, forced labor, arson, bribery.
Victims are coming forward.
I wonder what his mama thinks about all of this.
Shawn Puffy Combs, aka Diddy, aka P. Diddy, I'll see you in court.
What exactly is Diddy being charged with?
They recovered surveillance videos, they recovered cell phones, they recovered computers, electronic devices, as well as guns, and of course the baby oil, and all of this.
I've been waiting for baby oil to go back in stock, but
yeah. Most importantly, what people need to remember is that, look, the feds are going through all of this surveillance footage and they are conducting their investigation, and based on that, they have seen a lot. So in terms of people talking, shut your mouth. You do not know what the feds know. You don't know if you are in those videos. You don't know whether you are a part of these criminal acts. So I would suggest shut it up.
I am seeing all over the internet, a whole lot of people are talking about what they saw at the party, you know, if they worked for him.
Making themselves witnesses.
Oh.
One thing that really stands out that she says is that at one point Diddy had a knife inside her mouth and then says, "I'm going to give you a Glasgow smile," which is, you know, slitting someone's cheeks. But he's warned against it by a member of his team, saying Diddy's associates would prefer it if she, referring to Ashley, looked normal. She also says that they said to her they could ship her off and sell her to anyone in the world and she'd never be seen again by her parents or loved ones. Now, Ashley did make a police report in 2018 at the time of the alleged incident, and the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department confirmed her report was thoroughly investigated and it was determined the claims were unfounded. Diddy's team said Mr. Combs was nowhere near Orinda, California on the day that she claimed she was assaulted. There's no evidence that Mr. Combs was ever even in the same room as the alleged victim. She's completely unbelievable and no sane person who views the evidence will credit her story.
Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Shawn Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
We have the latest from federal court in the Shawn Combs criminal case. Status of jury selection, what Diddy's going to be wearing, violation of a gag order, rejecting a plea offer.
Elaborate, sometimes days-long parties by coercing victims through drugs, threats, and manipulation. They claim to have video evidence, and some of the accusations echo details from over 70 civil lawsuits filed against Combs over the last 30 years.
Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this case. They urged the judge to remand him.
Panda is a secret code for a certain thing, and so when it comes down to that certain thing, what it is you basically have a certain nerve in your rectum, and if you touch that nerve, you can turn a person into an animal, you can turn a person into whatever you want them to be if you just hold them down.
Music mogul Shawn Diddy Combs back behind bars, a magistrate judge denying him bail, saying that there were no conditions that she could conceive of that would make her confident that he would appear again for other court appearances. The judge saying, "My concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors."
At trial, Combs will ditch the jail garb and wear ordinary clothes, as his lawyers argue the evidence shows consenting adults being intimate in their own way.
This is going to be such a massive trial, like maybe the biggest Hollywood trial. God knows which way it's going to go. Are they going to, is it going to go on for weeks? And
for sure, weeks.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to exploit both women and men for decades.
Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to keep it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Would you be open to a plea bargain?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent, and what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
How can you support your father? How do you support him moving forward?
We made love. We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
I'm telling you that. Yes, TD Jakes is Kim Porter. So you tell me what they was doing. I'm not going to express how I feel about that because I don't.
Isn't that, to my mind, that's one of the bigger hurdles in selecting a jury this coming week, is that there is, at least anecdotally, and you know, when I talk to people, they have that opinion, strongly held opinion, that there's celebrity tapes, that they've kind of conflated Epstein, and you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and all of these things into Diddy. There's this idea that somehow this is Epstein redux or something.
The last hearing before Shawn Combs' trial starts, when he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings.
Now, as far as jury selection goes, I think the biggest takeaway for me is that both sides expect to have all of this done in the matter of 3 days. Now, given just how high profile this trial is, I was kind of stunned that they seem very confident that they will be able to seat a jury in that amount of time.
He knows the deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that, because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
What happens is if people go into a trial believing the firepower on the prosecution is so strong, I mean, let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, it's a 95 that it's so strong, but it goes down to an 88. That helps the defense because everybody goes in thinking, wow, they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and they're going to prove this, and all of a sudden, none of it's there. I think that actually helps the defense.
She did, and when the judge did, Diddy, who was sitting at the defense table with his attorneys, did not show any signs of emotion. He took a sip of water before he was led out of the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. Now, his lawyers have vowed to fight this. They are going to be back in court on Wednesday before the judge who will oversee this trial and try to get Diddy to be released.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Our next story takes us out to the Big Apple as Shawn Diddy Combs will be back in court today for day 2 of his trafficking and racketeering trial. Jury selection is set to resume with 19 jurors from the first day's pool moving on to the next stage. Fox 5 New York's Briella Tomasetti joins us live this morning outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with the very latest details. A lot of eyes on this case, Briella. Good morning.
Gina, good morning to you, and I can tell you this, it's expected to be another busy day at court. As a reminder, yesterday, potential jurors were given a brief explanation of the charges. The judge also told them that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Do you still think that, because there is this public perception, that there are celebrity tapes involved in this case?
No.
Do you still think that there are minors involved in this case?
I'm certain no.
Okay.
And again, when you say this case, we're talking the criminal case.
The criminal case.
In the
correct.
criminal,
I know that.
In the criminal case. In the criminal case, no.
Mr. Combs feels he's innocent. I think he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
Federal trafficking, racketeering, and charges beginning Monday morning.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Shawn Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Kutchersky.
Tonight, Shawn Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs than if he's convicted.
Wow, you guys, if you thought it couldn't get any worse, it actually does. Diddy's being hit with another SA lawsuit, but this time from a former male employee. And he's saying that Diddy would touch him inappropriately.
What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent, and I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I know he's innocent. So
you say you know he's innocent?
1,000%.
What happens when the once unshakable image of celebrity begins to crumble under the weight of deeply troubling accusations? In a world where fame often shields its holders from accountability, the cracks in that glittering facade are now impossible to ignore. Today, we pull back the curtain on one of the most explosive and controversial cases to ever rock the entertainment industry, the unfolding legal saga surrounding music mogul Shawn Diddy Combs. This is a story riddled with jaw-dropping allegations, clandestine operations, and a web of intrigue that reaches far beyond what anyone could have imagined. As details continue to emerge, each revelation seems more shocking than the last, promising not only to captivate but also to disturb anyone who thought they understood the boundaries of power and influence in Hollywood. What lies beneath the surface is a tale so complex and unsettling that it threatens to redefine how we view fame, trust, and accountability forever. The accusations against Diddy are nothing short of jaw-dropping, painting a picture so shocking that it feels like it's been ripped straight from the pages of a crime thriller. Prosecutors allege decades of misconduct, including trafficking, forced labor, arson, and bribery, crimes that suggest a calculated and sinister network operating in the shadows, far away from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood parties. The bombshell claims have sent shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and the public at large, as victims begin to emerge with harrowing stories of manipulation, coercion, and fear. These accounts paint a chilling image of power abused and lives shattered. But as the evidence unfolds, one can't help but wonder, where does the line between truth and speculation lie? Are these allegations rooted in hard facts, or could some elements be exaggerated, shaped by rumor or media frenzy? Only time and the trial will reveal the full story. A recently unsealed guest list from one of Diddy's infamous parties has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, igniting a firestorm of speculation and concern. Names like Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Usher, Ashton Kutcher, LeBron James, Paris Hilton, and even Prince Harry have surfaced, leaving the public stunned and intrigued. The appearance of such high-profile figures on the list has raised countless questions about their potential involvement, or lack thereof, in the shadowy events that prosecutors allege took place behind closed doors. Could these A-list celebrities, who command global influence and admiration, have unknowingly walked into something far more sinister than a lavish party? Or were they simply bystanders, attending what appeared to be yet another over-the-top gathering hosted by one of music's most iconic moguls? The unsettling possibility that some may have been entangled in activities they didn't fully understand has only deepened the intrigue surrounding the case. With investigators meticulously analyzing every detail, from catering logs to encrypted Wi-Fi connections, the stakes are higher than ever as the line between innocent attendance and complicity becomes increasingly blurred. Each name on the list adds another layer of intrigue, deepening the mystery surrounding Diddy's inner circle and the events that unfolded behind closed doors. Phone metadata places Jay-Z inside Diddy's mansion for nearly 3 hours that evening, raising questions about the nature of their interaction. Was it purely social, or did business dealings, perhaps even questionable ones, take place during that time? Meanwhile, catering logs confirm Beyoncé's presence, specifically noting a vegan entree delivered to her security detail, which aligns with her dietary preferences. Yet, this seemingly innocuous detail takes on new significance when considering whether VIP guests were required to sign non-disclosure agreements upon arrival, a practice several witnesses claim was standard at these gatherings. Usher's long history with Diddy stretches back to the mid-1990s, when the music mogul played a pivotal role in launching his career. This mentorship dynamic raises the stakes, as prosecutors hint that Usher could shed light on how young artists were introduced to Diddy's exclusive and often secretive social scene. A timestamp from a driveway CCTV camera shows Usher departing with 2 members of Diddy's management team in the early morning hours, fueling speculation about the nature of those late-night discussions. And what about Ashton Kutcher or LeBron James? Both men are linked to the event through flight manifests, hotel ledgers, and estate gate logs, but their exact roles remain unclear. Were they merely attendees at a high-profile party, or did they witness something more sinister? Each figure brings new dimensions to this unfolding saga, making us question not only who knew what but also when they knew it, and whether their silence speaks louder than their words. Defense attorneys have firmly maintained that merely attending one of Diddy's gatherings does not equate to criminal intent, dismissing the prosecution's case as an overreach rooted in guilt by association. They argue that being present at a social event, no matter how exclusive or secretive, cannot serve as definitive proof of involvement in illegal activities. However, prosecutors are crafting a far more intricate narrative. They contend that these parties were not just casual get-togethers, but meticulously planned events designed with dual purposes, enticing high-profile investors into Diddy's orbit while simultaneously silencing potential whistleblowers through opulence and intimidation. According to the prosecution, the guest lists were curated not only to elevate Diddy's brand, but also to create an environment where attendees felt both privileged and beholden, effectively muting any dissent. With both sides presenting compelling arguments, defense lawyers decrying the lack of direct evidence and prosecutors weaving a web of circumstantial connections, the trial is shaping up to be a legal tug-of-war unlike any other. As jurors weigh the distinction between innocent attendance and alleged complicity, the stakes couldn't be higher for all parties involved. The outcome could set a precedent for how similar cases involving celebrity networks and high-profile social circles are prosecuted in the future. Jay-Z's camp insists his visit was brief, but prosecutors hint at backroom dealings. Beyoncé's team stresses her limited interaction, yet she remains pivotal to understanding the event's hierarchy. Meanwhile, Usher's representatives claim his mentorship role was purely professional, despite timestamps showing late-night departures with Diddy's management team. The Diddy case has ignited a firestorm of speculation, debate, and reflection on the intersection of fame, power, and accountability. Legal scholars argue that this trial could serve as a referendum on the symbiotic relationship between celebrity and immunity, questioning whether star power still shields public figures from intense legal scrutiny. Younger fans, raised in the era of TikTok transparency, demand accountability, while veteran observers recall past scandals that fizzled once the cameras turned away. Yet, in today's digital age, nothing is easily forgotten. Streaming platforms are already gauging whether to curate playlists spotlighting bad boy classics, while sports sponsorship managers brace for potential fallout if LeBron James or any peer makes a misstep during cross-examination. Meanwhile, PR teams scramble to craft contingency plans as hashtags like #DiddyTrial and #guestlist spike every time a new filing hits Pacer. Beyoncé's team quietly adjusts tour promotion schedules, Usher's label prepares talking points, and Paris Hilton's fragrance launch stalls as legal advisors sift through wardrobe records from the night in question. The ripple effect extends far beyond the courtroom, influencing stock prices, brand endorsements, and even cultural perceptions of high-profile events. Behind the scenes, courtroom clerks handle a surge of sealed motions, including requests to redact sensitive passages from witness depositions and petitions to protect the mental health of testifiers recounting traumatic scenes. The judge, citing the public's right to observe judicial proceedings, grants only narrow redactions, amplifying anticipation for what will spill into the open record. As discovery deadlines loom, subpoenas must be served within weeks, forcing legal teams for Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and others to finalize deposition strategies. Observers anticipate marathon negotiating sessions over closed-door testimony versus open court appearances, with prosecutors leveraging the threat of contempt to secure cooperation. Through it all, fan communities push for transparency, creating a feedback loop no publicist can fully control. In quieter chambers, defense lawyers contemplate isolating financial crime counts from allegations tied to social gatherings, but prosecutors remain unmoved, citing the breadth of witness lists and the gravity of organized crime statutes. As the trial inches closer to its dramatic unveiling, one thing is certain. When the first of the 7 celebrities steps through the courthouse metal detectors, the mood outside will shift from speculation to spectacle. Journalists will parse body language, fashion blogs will critique wardrobe choices, and stock prices for sponsoring brands may zigzag in real time. Yet, inside the paneled walls, only sworn statements will matter. Each answer could braid new strands into an already complex indictment, reshaping how celebrity networks are audited by federal courts. A verdict siding fully with the prosecution could redraw the playbook for celebrity-driven brands, forcing greater transparency at high-profile events. Conversely, an acquittal might reinforce the status quo, signaling that star testimonials and curated guest rosters are insufficient to topple an industry titan. Either way, future VIP soirees will face sharper lenses, and the handshake deals forged at midnight may never feel quite as comfortable. This case isn't just about Shawn Diddy Combs. It's a cultural reckoning that forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about proximity, privilege, and privacy. How many of the 7 named figures will ultimately speak under oath? And how many will lean on negotiated statements or declarations read into the record? Until then, the roster stands immutable, etched into the case file and permanently entwined with Diddy's legal saga. In this collision of star power and statute, the essence of celebrity influence confronts the rigors of federal procedure. Bright lights once reserved for red carpets now flood sterile hallways, reminding us that fame and accountability exist in a delicate balance, one that this trial may forever alter.